Bitcoin is now sitting at the precipice of its next major parabolic advance to take us up to the textbook sell point, which is sitting in between about 140 to 150,000 in the month of October. Based on the textbook diagram and the current trajectory of Bitcoin's trend, that is what we are currently waiting for. In the short term, Bitcoin is sitting about less than 2% away from a new all-time high. And all of this is happening right alongside the S&P 500 finding new all-time highs. Also, Bitmine Immersion Technologies Inc., with their recent stock listing, has surged 3,000% in a week, and they're making waves across the market. Fundstrat's Tom Lee has been named the chairman of Bitmine Immersion Tech, and one of their main goals is to essentially become the MicroStrategy for Ethereum, stacking Ethereum as their main reserve asset. Could this be exactly what the altcoins in Ethereum need to see a major recovery? We're going to be discussing all of this and more in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and today is July 3rd. It's about to be July 4th, so happy holidays to all you guys in the US. Now, the markets are starting to look really good. One of the most important things for me in my analysis is looking at the S&P and seeing where the general markets are headed. And right now, we are pointed up. The S&P closing out this week with a really nice bullish candle. Bitcoin almost never gets a major all-time high break, or at least a sustained all-time high break, without the S&P giving it permission. And so now that we have the S&P's permission for bullish speculators to be really confident, I think we're probably going to be breaking into the all-time high very, very soon. As long as the S&P sustains these new all-time high levels, then it appears to me that we're ready to do it ourselves here in the Bitcoin market. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you should be very familiar with my parabolic trend analysis. Bitcoin has played out the textbook diagram to absolute perfection at this point. As the trend was playing along over the years, there were moments of doubt, where there was a lot of volatility. But now you're looking at the chart in hindsight, it's perfect. It's a perfect parabola, and Bitcoin is set for the next major push. And some people might think that this prediction of Bitcoin continuing the parabola up to 140, 150,000 going into October, November of this year might sound a little bullish. I mean, some people probably say it's not bullish enough. Some people say it's too bullish. I think it's a pretty solid overall forecast to have for the market. The fact that people are saying I'm not bullish enough or that I'm being too bullish at the same time tells me that it's probably a sweet spot. It seems like it'll probably end up being pretty accurate, seeing that we've already been fulfilling this diagram to a T. And as long as the S&P can sustain the all-time high, seeing this type of price action would be standard price action for a Bitcoin bull market. This is really nothing out of the ordinary. Now, in the short term, Bitcoin sitting less than 2% away from its all-time high. We are starting to break this downward sloping resistance. We actually just had a breakout. Now we're looking at the daily chart, but at this point, Bitcoin kind of just needs a little bit of a push, and it's going to be at the new all-time high. It's really, really close. It could really happen at any moment. And the initial breakout targets from high to low using your fibs would be something like 119,000. That is actually the 1272, the first major fib target. And the 1272 is considered a shallow target, a shallow fib extension, the 1618 being much higher, but the 1272 is sitting at 119,000. It seems quite possible, quite likely, and it's not all that far away. And looking at the weekly chart, if Bitcoin can close the weekly above 109,000, that would be a record-breaking highest weekly close of all time. And if we do get that, I think we would end up getting continuation into the new all-time high. So we've discussed Bitcoin. I want to jump over to this story, which is a top story right now. Tom Lee from Fundstrat has been named the chairman of Bitmine Immersion Tech, and their stock has gone up, like 3,000% or something in a week. And the company plans to implement an Ethereum treasury strategy similar to what MicroStrategy does for Bitcoin. So Wall Street is now taking an interest in the altcoins. And what Tom Lee explained in this CNBC interview is that Ethereum is going to play a huge role in the stablecoin market. You guys know that stablecoins are one of the biggest narratives for crypto right now, and Ethereum plays a key role in settling the transactions for stablecoins. And Tom Lee and people on Wall Street are now seeing that there is a reason to have exposure to Ethereum, as it is laying the infrastructure for stablecoins, RWA, and other things. And this might be the catalyst that Ethereum needed, right? Bitcoin has had this catalyst of being a treasury reserve asset, and now Ethereum is getting the same narrative. Other companies and firms, they may follow suit and we might see Ethereum adoption pick up. And if that is the case, Ethereum may be able to actually get somewhat of a meaningful, significant recovery before the end of this cycle. Now, I'm not going to come out with some crazy prediction, but I do think that Ethereum could be testing above 4K by the time, October comes around, maybe higher if things go really well. And ultimately, a lot of people think that Ethereum is dead or whatever, but as you can see, Wall Street, follow the money. They see the value in Ethereum and they're starting to adopt it. And with BMNR, Bitmine Immersion Tech stock, going from dollars to $160 today, this might spark some interest in not only their stock, but also Ethereum. People are going to see this, and then they're going to look at what is that company doing, and they're going to see they're looking to adopt hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum, and probably billions over the long run. In the short term, we have seen some solid movement from Ethereum. It's now above 2,500 again, still generally struggling to actually get that recovery that we've been all looking for. But again, with this new narrative picking up, BMNR, stablecoins, tokenization of stocks, all those types of things, I think Ethereum is likely going to see more interest, growing interest as we move forward. And this is likely going to be sparking some interest in altcoins as well. Bitcoin dominance is still sitting at this really high level, 65, but we'll see if the narrative takes hold. It's quite possible that dominance plays out a reversal. As of right now, the trend is still your friend for dominance, and Ethereum would have to do a lot of work in order to get dominance to drop. But keep in mind, from the bottom of April to where Ethereum is now, it's up about 90% roughly, and Bitcoin from the low to where we are now, it's up less than 50% or so. So Ethereum is currently outpacing Bitcoin by about double from the April low, right? And so if Ethereum can sort of keep up that speed, keep up that velocity, well, you might see dominance turn around. But I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy for thinking that. I'm sure a lot of people would say that, but dominance drops at some point in every cycle, and Bitmine Immersion Tech might be the narrative that we need for it to begin. That's gonna be it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like, subscribe. Be sure to click that link below and sign up for BloFin. They do have a trading competition right now. You can join my team by clicking that link below. You also get 10% cash back on all of your own trading fees by using that link below, which means that essentially 1 in 10 trades is a free trade if you're getting 10% of your fees back. So it's a no-brainer. You should be saving money on fees. Definitely use that link below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.